Team 32 of 52 teams of 8 competitive rival wisdoms that help make humanity wiser and kinder with antique quotes that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. Help raise school test scores and self-confidence by giving your kids free, easy, extra advantage math, spelling, and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Team quote 32.1. Goodwill is the only asset that competition cannot undersell or destroy. Marshall Field, 1834–1906. This insightful observation from Field, who revolutionized retail through his Chicago department store, reflects his deep understanding of business and human nature. As someone who built his success largely on customer service and reputation, he understood the enduring value of goodwill. The metaphor of goodwill as an asset is particularly clever because, like financial assets, goodwill can be built up over time. Unlike physical assets, it can't be directly copied or undercut. It creates value that goes beyond monetary measurement. It tends to appreciate rather than depreciate with proper care. What makes this especially meaningful coming from Field is that he practiced what he preached. His business innovations often centered on building customer goodwill through policies like liberal return policies, customer-first service philosophy, fair dealing practices, quality guarantees. It's fascinating how this principle remains true today, perhaps even more so in our era of social media and instant customer feedback, where goodwill can be a business's most valuable intangible asset. Have you noticed how companies that maintain strong goodwill often seem to weather competitive challenges better than those focused solely on price or features? Team quote 32.2. Conviction is the conscience of the mind. Nicolas Chamfort, 1741–1794. This profound observation from Chamfort, a French writer known for his penetrating insights into human nature, creates a fascinating parallel between moral and intellectual integrity. The metaphor equating conviction to conscience works on several levels. Just as conscience guides moral behavior, conviction guides intellectual positions. Both require an internal standard of truth and authenticity. Both can cause discomfort when violated. Both serve as internal compasses for decision-making. What makes this particularly interesting is how it suggests that our intellectual beliefs should be held with the same sincerity as our moral principles. Chamfort implies that betraying our genuine convictions is as troubling to the mind as violating our conscience is to the soul. Coming from someone who lived through the French Revolution and ultimately took his own life, rather than compromise his principles, this wasn't merely a philosophical observation, but a lived truth. Do you find that your strongest convictions do indeed function like a conscience, creating that same kind of internal pressure to remain true to what you believe? Team quote 32.3. A man's action is only a picture book of his creed. Arthur Helps, 1813–1875. This perceptive metaphor from Helps, a British writer and historian, elegantly captures how our beliefs manifest themselves through our actions. The comparison to a picture book is particularly apt and layered with meaning. The metaphor works on multiple levels. Like a picture book, our actions make visible what we truly believe. Each action becomes a page or illustration of our inner convictions. Others can read our true beliefs through our behaviors. The visual nature of a picture book suggests actions speak clearer than words. What makes this insight especially powerful is how it challenges the common disconnect between proclaimed beliefs and actual behavior. It suggests that our true creed is revealed not by what we say, but by what we do. Every action contributes to the larger story of our beliefs. We can't hide our real convictions behind words when our actions tell the truth. Our behavior creates a visible record of our authentic values. Have you found this to be true? That people's actions tend to create an accurate picture book of what they truly believe, regardless of what they claim to believe. Team quote 32.4. Be that self which one truly is. Kierkegaard 1813 to 1855. This deceptively simple statement from Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher known for exploring authenticity and individual existence, cuts to the heart of human struggle with identity and self-actualization. The phrase carries several profound implications. It suggests there is a true self, distinct from the personas we adopt. It implies that being this true self requires conscious effort. It hints that many people live in ways that aren't authentic to their nature. It positions authenticity as an active choice rather than a passive state. What makes this particularly meaningful coming from Kierkegaard is his deep understanding of how society, religion, and personal anxiety can pull us away from our authentic selves. His use of truly is suggests there's an essential self that exists beneath our social masks and learned behaviors. The statement also contains an inherent challenge. It's one thing to know we should be our true selves, but quite another to identify and express that true self in a world that often encourages conformity. Have you found it challenging to maintain authenticity while navigating social expectations and pressures? Team quote 32.5. Common sense is instinct, and enough of it is genius. Josh Billings 1885. This clever observation from Billings, the pen name of Henry Wheeler Shaw, reflects his trademark style of combining folksy wisdom with deep insight. As one of America's most popular 19th-century humorists, he had a gift for making profound ideas accessible. The quote works on several levels. It elevates common sense by linking it to instinct, something natural and fundamental. It suggests genius isn't necessarily about complexity, but about having abundant practical wisdom. It implies that the simplest solution is often the best one. It democratizes the concept of genius by connecting it to something everyone has to some degree. What makes this particularly interesting is how it challenges the common view that genius must be something rare and exotic. Instead, Billings suggests it's simply an abundance of something quite ordinary, good practical judgment. The structure of the quote is also clever. It first defines common sense as instinct, and then defines genius as plenty of common sense, creating a transitive relationship between instinct and genius. Have you noticed instances where having an abundance of practical wisdom proved more valuable than complex theoretical knowledge? Team quote 32.6. Force has no place where there is need of skill. Herodotus 484 BC, 424 BC. This astute observation from Herodotus, often called the father of history, reflects his understanding of how success is achieved through different means. As someone who documented numerous military campaigns and political struggles, he had ample opportunity to observe when force succeeded and when it failed. The quote makes several key points. Force and skill are often opposing approaches to solving problems. Some situations specifically require finesse rather than power. Applying force when skill is needed tends to be counterproductive. Wisdom lies in recognizing which approach is appropriate. What makes this particularly relevant is that it challenges the common impulse to use force, whether physical, political, or social, to overcome obstacles. Herodotus suggests that in many situations, force isn't just ineffective, it's actually inappropriate. This wisdom applies broadly in diplomacy, where negotiation skills often achieve what threats cannot. In teaching, where understanding works better than authority. In leadership, where influence can be more effective than control. In craftsmanship, where delicacy often succeeds where brute strength fails. Have you encountered situations where attempting to force a solution actually prevented progress that skill could have achieved? Team quote 32.7. Against the assault of laughter nothing can stand. Mark Twain 1835 to 1910. This perceptive observation from Twain captures one of his core beliefs about the power of humor as a tool for social change and criticism. As America's greatest humorist, he repeatedly demonstrated how laughter could deflate pomposity, expose hypocrisy, and challenge entrenched beliefs. The martial metaphor of assault is particularly clever because it positions laughter as a weapon, but one that works through joy rather than harm. It suggests humor can succeed where force might fail. It implies that pretense and false dignity are defenseless against genuine humor. It recognizes laughter's ability to break down barriers and resistance. What makes this especially meaningful coming from Twain is that he consistently used humor to challenge racial prejudice, criticize political corruption, question religious hypocrisy, expose social pretensions. The quote suggests that while arguments, force, or reason might be resisted, laughter has a unique ability to slip past our defenses and make us see things differently. Have you noticed how certain truths become clearer or more acceptable when presented through humor rather than direct confrontation? Team quote 32.8. Life's enchanted cup sparkles near the brim. Lord Byron 1788–1824. This lyrical observation from Byron, one of the great Romantic poets, captures both the beauty and the transient nature of life's pleasures. It's particularly poignant coming from someone who lived as intensely as Byron did, seeking out life's sparkling moments until his early death at 36. The metaphor of life as an enchanted cup works on multiple levels. The sparkle suggests both beauty and effervescence. The reference to near the brim implies both fullness and precariousness. The enchantment suggests life's magical, transformative qualities. The cup itself represents life as something we drink from and consume. What makes this image especially powerful is how it captures both the allure and the fleeting nature of life's pleasures. The sparkle is most visible near the brim, at the moment just before consumption, just before the experience passes. Byron's choice of enchanted is particularly apt, suggesting something both magical and temporary. Enchantments, after all, don't last forever. Do you find that life's moments seem to sparkle most brightly when we're most aware of their transient nature? And if you'd like to help raise school test scores and self-confidence, you can give your kids free, easy, extra advantage math, spelling, and reading workbooks you can download for free at stop2think.com or buy at educationstopshate.com. Free easy math wisdom workbooks with octa repetition to grow math self-confidence. You'll get plenty of repetitive practice of age ranges and averages of our 52 teams of 8 quote authors. Free easy alpha cipher-coded puzzles teach letters, numbers, and phrases using antique wisdoms that encourage and educate. Can you decode this cipher quote of encouragement using either our learning to spell or just for fun instructions? And since time is money, practice reading faster with 52 teams of antique rival wisdoms that have passed the test of time to encourage, educate, and entertain generations for centuries. We offer printed versions and timed videos with background music. Sign up for free weekly emails of 52 teams of antique rival wisdom workbooks with easy math, spelling, and reading practice. And if you'd like to get paid for sharing our wearable wisdoms, keep this in mind. Everyone I know wears a shirt, and most of us change them daily. So change your shirt and change the world. Social equalities are blatantly subliminal antique positive wisdoms, repetitively shared without saying a word. This applies to all our wearable shareable wisdoms, like pretty witty baby onesies and baby tees that you and others will see and read multiple times a day. The same is true with pretty witty kids, but they'll also share these wisdoms with anyone that can read at daycare or school. Youthful truths let your kids gain confidence sharing antique wisdoms with their friends. Imagine them sharing words of wisdom with classmates and teachers. I think therefore I think tees I wear is a super easy way to share words of wisdom that have passed the test of time. Our social equality tees help make us all wiser and kinder with blatantly subliminal messages, promoting a more fair and equal opportunity society for all. And don't forget our giftwisdoms.com for birthdays and holidays that makes it easy to share the wisdom with clothing, coffee mugs, and magnets. So do the future a favor by encouraging, educating, and entertaining with words of wisdom that have passed the test of time to make us all wiser and kinder. With wearable wisdoms to fit babies, kids, and adults, you can clothe a whole family, city, or state. Join the 52 of 8 today at 52of8.com.